Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the EcoStruxure Operator Terminal Expert training. I'm your host, Leandro Romada, and in this video what we're going to see is one of the options that we have for triggering scripts. So let's go to the presentation. There we go. So in the previous video we have seen the touch trigger. Now what I'm going to show you is the periodic one. So when we want to trigger an action or something to do a modification on the HMI, we can use a periodic action, a periodic trigger. So every amount of time that you want to configure, then you can execute something. So if you go to a script, all script, and we select toolchart, we should be able to find in the top trigger, periodic, and schedule. So we can drag and drop here and select the periodic, or we can use the yearly. Okay, so this one is very easy. I wouldn't go to this direction. What is important for you is to indicate I believe this is not responding. Okay, so we have the monthly, hourly, daily, and weekly. So here you can see where we want to set a specific amount of time. And it just executes something, but I will probably make a video for this later. The one I want to focus is the periodic one. So here to just specify the time you want for something to be triggered, and then here is the value, the incremental value. So for example, if I want that every 3 seconds I want to add a value to a different variable, so I'm going to use variable value change, and I want to add, for example, to a variable that I need to create. So for example, I have this variable called counter. So I want this value to increment every 3 seconds. Okay, so if I go to all script, sorry, to my screen, and I show this variable over here, oops, I can select the numeric display, current value, variable, counter. Let's just change the font. And then just simulate. So the idea now is every 2 or 3 seconds, I remember the value I have used, it will increment the value into, I believe I used every 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So every 3 seconds it will increment the number 2. So in the previous video I showed you that we can offset rectangle. I show you that it's important that we give a specific name to the variable so we can play around with all the properties. So in this particular case, I'm going to use a script, a local script over here with the periodic one. So every 2 seconds I change the color of the specific offset. So variable offset. Offset rectangle, and then I'm going to change fill, color, I'm going to use a new variable here, ID color. ID color. So I'm going to set this, but first I need to increment this. So value change, put it over here, up to value here, one, and then I'm going to use a condition here, values chic if this one is bigger than just assign the value set to 0. So let's say every second it will increment one the ID number, and it will change this screen field that I have over here. That is in theory what will happen. So let's see if I'm wrong or not. Errors. Maybe specify property. Color. Oops. Color value. So if you can see, it's changing the color inside. Is the fill offset. Okay, so and now it's going back to 0. So as I can see here, I'm using this periodic trigger in order to increment a variable, and that variable is assigned to this graphic object. Okay, and then I made a conditional in order to stop this and go back to the first value. So as you can see here, the importance that we have using this trigger option. We have already covered the touch and the periodic one. So next we can see this schedule. Okay, so this is it for this conditional, for this trigger on the periodic use on the script. So we can trigger an action in a specific time that we want. Okay, so we have already seen that is very easy. We can use it on the global script or in the local screen or content. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.